What do you do when everything you thought you knew explodes in a single second? When the person you trusted most morphs into a stranger, their lies unraveling into a chilling nightmare. David thought he had it all. Love, a solid life, built on trust. But one early flight home ripped his world apart, plunging him into a twisted maze of lies. A seemingly innocent party became the doorway to a darker truth. Something that went way beyond cheating, diving deep into manipulation, deceit, and secrets that could freeze your blood. This isn't just a sob story. It's a wild ride of fighting back, getting even, and grabbing back control. What would you do if the person you loved turned into your worst enemy? Fresh off a brutal 4-day business trip to Boston, a whirlwind of meetings, late nights, and zero sleep, I was dead on my feet boarding the flight back to New York. A wave of relief washed over me, fueled by one thought. I'd surprise Jessica by coming home a day early and actually spend a quiet evening together. The jet landed at JFK at 4:55 p.m. Jessica had no idea I was on my way. Surprises used to be our thing, little sparks to keep things alive. But lately, that spark felt like it had died. Jessica wasn't cold or picking fights, more like she'd drifted off into her own world. Conversations that used to flow felt forced, like the connection was fraying. I told myself it was a phase, stress, time, whatever. It would pass. By the time I pulled into our driveway in the West Village just after 6:00 p.m., something felt wrong. The street was jammed with cars I didn't recognize, spilling onto the sidewalk. Faint music throbbed through the air, a knot tightening in my gut. A party? On a Thursday? With my suitcase in hand, I walked to the front door, pushed it open, and froze. Our living room, the heart of our apartment, was a chaotic mess. Strangers sprawled on our couch, leaned against the walls, drinks in hand, laughter mixed with the music. The coffee table was buried under beer bottles and wine glasses, turning our home into a frat house. And then I saw her. Jessica, by the fireplace, laughing. She was wearing a short black dress I'd never seen, totally relaxed, hand resting on the arm of a guy I'd never laid eyes on. He leaned in way too close, their bodies practically touching, way too intimate. The room went silent, heads turning towards the doorway where I stood, like a ghost. Jessica spun around, her smile vanishing, replaced by shock, then maybe panic, before she forced a bright, fake smile. "David," she said, voice tight and way too high. "You're home early." She didn't rush to me, no hug, no explanation. Instead, she stepped between me and the guy, like shielding him would erase what I'd just seen. "Clearly," I said, my voice ice cold, scanning the room. "What is this?" "It's nothing," she said, too fast, too casual. "Just a small get-together. Friends." "Friends?" I cut her off, my voice rising. "I don't recognize a single face here, and I definitely don't know him." I pointed at the guy, who froze, then edged towards the door, guilt written all over his face. Jessica's face hardened. "Can we not do this here?" she hissed. "You're making a scene." I let out a bitter laugh. "A scene? I've been gone for 4 days, Jessica, 4 days. And I come home to this?" My voice cracked, anger and disbelief choking me. The air in the room thickened with tension. Jessica grabbed my arm, nails digging into my skin. "Let's talk upstairs," she hissed through clenched teeth. "No," I said, yanking my arm away. "We'll talk here, in front of your friends." Her eyes darted around the room, panicked by the audience. Before she could say another word, the front door slammed shut. The guy had bolted, sprinting down the driveway, tires screeching as he sped off. I turned back to Jessica, voice shaking with barely controlled rage. "Are you going to explain who that was?" She didn't flinch. No apology, no explanation, just a command. "Get out," she said, voice sharp and cold. I blinked, stunned. "What did you just say?" "You heard me," she snapped. "This is my apartment, and I won't let you ruin the night. Leave." A wave of disbelief surged through me. This wasn't the Jessica I married. Something inside me snapped. Without a word, I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a folded sheet of paper. The results of a private investigator I'd hired weeks ago, a gnawing feeling I couldn't ignore. I handed it to her. Her face went white as she read, hands trembling. When she finished, she looked up, eyes a mix of fear and fury. "What the hell is this?" she whispered. "It's the truth," I said evenly. "Now it's up to you to decide how much of it your friends get to hear." Her reaction was instant, venomous. She crumpled the paper, hurled it aside, and slammed the door in my face with a deafening thud. I stood there on the porch, suitcase still in hand, the muffled music and laughter inside stinging like salt in a fresh wound. But I didn't leave. I leaned against the doorframe, resolute. She wouldn't shut me out. Not tonight. Not after what I'd uncovered. That piece of paper was just the beginning. And I wasn't done. Days later, the detective handed me a thick folder. Photos, time-stamped logs, receipts. Every fear I'd tried to bury, validated. Tonight's quick getaway guy wasn't a one-off. He was just the latest in a long line of betrayals. The sharp click of the door yanking open snapped me out of my thoughts. Jessica stood in the doorway, face a mask of ice. She stepped outside, pulling the door closed behind her to muffle the party, buying privacy. "You had me followed?" she demanded, voice low and dangerous. "I did," I said, keeping my voice steady, though my insides were churning. Hands shaking, chest pounding, breath uneven. "And guess what? I was right." Her eyes darted towards the window, checking if anyone could see us. "This is a new low, even for you, David," she hissed. "For me?" I shot back, voice sharp. "You've been sneaking around for who knows how long, and you're calling me out?" She leaned against the doorframe, crossing her arms, lips curling into a smug smile. "Your problem," she said, cool as ice, "is that you're paranoid. You always have been. You make this marriage unbearable." "Unbearable?" I repeated, stunned by her audacity. "Jessica, you're the one cheating on me. You brought someone else into our life, into our home. You threw this party while I was away, and somehow I'm ruining our marriage?" She rolled her eyes, scoffing. "It's just a party, David. Stop being so dramatic. You act like I've committed a crime." The bitterness inside me boiled over. "A party?" I stepped closer, voice hard as steel. "What about the hotel stays, the late-night meetups, the coffee shop dates with that guy last month? Are those just parties, too?" For a split second, her face paled, but she quickly recovered. "You're pathetic," she spat, words dripping with disdain. "Digging through my life like some desperate stalker. Maybe if you spent half as much effort making me happy as you did playing detective, we wouldn't be here." I let out a bitter laugh. "Making you happy? That's your excuse? That I didn't try hard enough? So you decided to cheat?" Her face hardened into stone. "Believe whatever you want," she snapped, voice sharp as glass. "I don't owe you an explanation." As she turned to go back inside, I grabbed her wrist, not to hurt, but to stop her. She froze, glaring at me like a cornered animal. "We're not done," I said, voice steady despite the chaos inside. "You're going to tell me the truth. All of it. And then you're going to explain why you think I'm the one who should leave." She wrenched her arm free, eyes piercing mine. "You want the truth, David?" Her voice was icy, cutting. "Fine. The truth is, I've been over this marriage for years. You're dull, predictable, and self-absorbed. Honestly, I didn't think you'd even notice." Her words hit like a punch to the gut. I opened my mouth to speak, but she cut me off. "And another thing," she continued, stepping closer, voice rising. "I'm not sorry, not one bit. So take your little folder, take your righteous outrage, and do whatever you want. I'm done." She spun on her heel, stormed back inside, and slammed the door behind her. I stood there on the porch, staring at the closed door, her words echoing in my head. I'm not sorry. I don't regret a single thing. Something inside me shifted. The shock, the heartbreak. They didn't vanish, but they made room for something colder, something resolute. If she wanted me gone, fine, but not without consequences. I turned back to the door, hand hovering over the handle. From inside, laughter and music, the sound of her partying in the ruins of our life. The thought of her celebrating, pretending none of this mattered, lit a fire in me. I pushed the door open and stepped back into the room. The crowd went silent, heads swiveling towards me. Jessica, leaning against the kitchen counter with a glass of wine, froze mid-laugh, her confidence wavering, face hardening with anger. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, setting her glass down. "What am I doing?" I shot back, voice steady but commanding. "What are you doing, Jessica? Throwing a party in our apartment while sneaking around behind my back?" The room buzzed with unease as her friends exchanged glances. Jessica flushed red, but forced a tight smile. "David, stop making a scene," she said sweetly. "Why don't you step outside and cool off?" "Oh, I'm cool," I replied, stepping further into the room, pulling my phone from my pocket. I held it up for everyone to see. "In fact, I'm so cool I came prepared. Want to see the proof, Jessica? Or should I show your friends instead?" Her composure faltered. "You're being ridiculous," she hissed through clenched teeth. "Am I?" I shot back. "Because I think everyone here deserves to know the truth." For the first time, uncertainty flickered in her eyes. I held her gaze, unrelenting. This wasn't just about confronting her anymore. It was about reclaiming what little dignity I had left, even if it meant burning everything else down with it. The crowd fixed their eyes on me, silence charged with anticipation. "Am I?" I began, voice sharp. "Did she tell you about her little meeting at the Marriott last month? Or how she skipped dinner with me because she was supposedly working late with him?" The room erupted with murmurs, my words hitting them like a thunderclap. Jessica's confident act began to crumble, her mask of composure cracking under the weight of the truth. But I wasn't about to stop. "David, stop!" she demanded, voice trembling, rising with tension. "Not a chance," I said, tone steady but laced with razor-edged precision. "Actually, I'm just getting started. You see, while I was away, I hired someone to dig into a few things. Turns out Jessica's been busy. Lunchtime meetings, late-night rendezvous, even sneaking him into our apartment when she thought I wouldn't notice. So, Jessica, would you like to enlighten everyone here? Or should I?" Her face twisted into rage, fists clenching at her sides. The guests stood frozen, wide eyes darting back and forth between us. "You're pathetic!" she spat, voice shaking with fury. "You think you can humiliate me here in front of my friends? They'll believe me over your sad, desperate stories." I stepped closer, lowering my voice but not the intensity. Then why did the guy you were so cozy with earlier vanish the moment I arrived? If there's nothing to hide, Jessica, explain that. The whispers among the crowd grew louder. The certainty in her friend's eyes was starting to crack as Jessica's confidence slipped, and she knew it. "This is beneath me," she finally snapped, grabbing her wine glass and heading towards the kitchen. "Oh, it's not beneath me," I retorted, following close behind. "You want me gone? Fine. But not before everyone knows who you really are." I turned to the crowd, voice clear and resolute. "For anyone still wondering, tonight's guy isn't the first. Jessica's been entertaining a lineup of men for months while I was working out of town to provide for us. She turned this apartment into her playground." Gasps rippled through the group. A woman in a sequined dress audibly gasped. Another guest edged towards the door, regret etched on their face.
"David, enough!"
Jessica shouted, slamming her glass onto the counter with a sharp clink. "No, Jessica," I replied, voice calm yet unyielding. "Enough is you lying, disrespecting our marriage, and painting me as the villain. Enough is you thinking you could get away with it." She pushed past me, steps hurried as she made for the stairs. "I'm done with this," she said coldly. "Good," I called after her, voice sharp with finality. "So am I." As her footsteps disappeared upstairs, an uneasy quiet settled over the room. Guests began shuffling towards the door, muttering excuses as they went. I didn't stop them. Let them leave. Let them carry the truth with them. By the door, my suitcase stood where I'd left it, waiting. My hands trembled slightly, but my resolve stayed strong. She wanted me gone, and I'd leave, but not without saying my piece. The stairs creaked under my weight as I climbed, each step heavy with memories of what we'd once had. Mornings laughing over coffee, holiday celebrations, whispered late-night confessions. It all felt tainted now, ruined by betrayal. The bedroom door was ajar. I nudged it open and found Jessica perched on the bed, furiously typing on her phone. She didn't look up as I entered. "Texting your boyfriend?" I asked, voice sharp. "Getting advice on how to handle this?" She didn't look up. "You've made your point, David. Leave me alone." "No," I said firmly, stepping fully into the room and shutting the door behind me. "We're not done." She finally set her phone down and turned to face me, expression cold and unyielding. "What do you want? An apology?" Her voice was biting. "Fine. I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry you were so dull that I lost interest. I'm sorry you were so focused on being the perfect husband that you never noticed how unhappy I was." Her words were like daggers, but I stood firm. "Unhappy?" I repeated, crossing my arms. "You think that excuses the lies, the cheating, the complete lack of respect? If you were so miserable, why not just leave?" "Leave?" she scoffed, bitterness dripping from her voice. "So you could play the victim? No thanks." I stared at her, chest tight. The woman I thought I knew was gone. "Unbelievable," I said quietly, shaking my head. "I've been nothing but loyal to you, Jessica. I gave you everything. And this is how you repay me?" She rolled her eyes, disdain palpable. "Loyalty doesn't mean anything without excitement, David. You're predictable. I needed more." "More?" I snapped, voice rising. "So you destroyed our marriage for a fling? For a few moments of cheap thrills? You're pathetic." She stood abruptly, anger blazing. "You think you're better than me?" she shot back. I held her gaze, tone steady. "No, Jessica. I think I respected what we built. You didn't, and that says everything about you." Her face hardened, the fight in her eyes dimming for a moment. We stood in silence, air thick with the finality of everything we'd lost. Then, without a word, she turned away. This wasn't the woman I had loved. That version was gone. And with her, the life we'd built was gone too. "You're not who you pretend to be," she said, voice low and venomous, "and you're manipulative, overly demanding, and so wrapped up in your perfect little bubble that you never noticed I was suffocating." "When did you ever try to communicate with me?" I shot back, voice trembling with fury. "You didn't even give me a chance to fix things. Instead, you went behind my back and shattered everything we'd worked so hard to create." "That's your doing, Jessica, not mine." The room grew oppressively quiet, tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Then she smiled, a sharp, cold expression that wasn't friendly, bitter and scornful. Her smirk sent my pulse racing with anger. "You think it's all over, don't you?" she said, tone dripping with venom. "You've humiliated me in front of everyone, played the hero, have you? Well, let me tell you something, David. You're not getting away with this unscathed." Her words hit like a slap, harsh, unapologetic, meant to sting. There wasn't a trace of regret in her voice, only defiance. "This is all just a game to you, isn't it?" I responded, tone ice cold and deliberate. "Well, Jessica, let me make one thing very clear. I don't lose." Without another word, I turned and slammed the door behind me. Heart pounding, hands shaking, I descended the stairs. Without hesitation, I grabbed my suitcase, stepped outside, and inhaled the cool night air. I glanced back at the apartment building that had once been my refuge, now a battlefield. She thought she'd won, kicking me out, seizing control. She thought she held all the cards, but she had no idea what was coming. Sitting in my car, engine idling, mind racing. Leaving in silence would be exactly what she wanted. Jessica expected me to retreat quietly, lick my wounds, let her rewrite the story, turn me into a footnote. Not going to happen. I had the truth. Evidence, documents, photos, proof of who she truly was, and now, a plan. Saving the marriage? That ship had sailed. This was about making sure she didn't walk away clean. My first move was automatic. Phone out, dialing the private investigator. He answered right away, voice professional. "It's time," I said firmly. A brief pause, then, "Understood." He already had everything ready. Photos, videos, text logs, meticulously organized. "Send everything to my lawyer," I instructed. Next call. Robert, my lawyer. Relentless, astute, managed my business for years. I laid it all out. He didn't miss a beat. "I'll draft the paperwork," he said, voice determined. "Divorce?" I clarified. "Yes," he confirmed. "Full asset protection, and prepare a restraining order, just in case." "Got it," he replied confidently. "Stay away from the apartment. Let me handle the rest." Ending the call, adrenaline surged. No doubt, no fear. Laptop open, email started. Recipients, Jessica's carefully curated social circle, friends, family. Subject line, the truth about Jessica. Attached, the damning evidence. Photo of her at a hotel bar, holding hands with someone else. Receipt for a room under a fake name. Texts bragging about her escapades. Message direct. "To everyone, I apologize for this public airing, but you deserve the truth. Jessica has spent months lying, cheating, disrespecting the life we built. While I worked to support our family, she betrayed me in our home and beyond, attached evidence of her actions, not seeking reconciliation, only clarity. Ensure no one is misled by her version. Regards, David. Send." watched it vanish into cyberspace. Drastic? Yes. Did I care? No. Jessica humiliated me, destroyed our marriage, treated me like I was nothing. If she wanted war, she just declared it. Knowing I wasn't backing down brought a strange calm. Not peace, no peace in sight, but resolve. Started the car, drove to a downtown hotel. Tomorrow, the landscape would shift. Woke to sterile hotel quiet. Last night replaying in my head, but instead of despair, clarity, beginning of the end. For the first time, I held the reins. Phone check. Email had landed. Inbox overflowing. Reactions, shock, disbelief, indignation from some of Jessica's closest allies. Expected. Loyal ones would stand by her, others already questioning her. One reply stood out. Avery, Jessica's oldest friend. Cautious. Sincere. David didn't realize things were this bad. Sorry for what you're going through. If you need to talk, I'm here. Not a full betrayal, but not support for Jessica's lies either. Filed it away, turned attention to unfolding chaos, social media buzzing. Jessica's Instagram, carefully crafted perfection, eerily silent, comments on recent posts, vague queries, veiled accusations. Phone buzzed. Robert. Moving fast, he said. Be ready. I was. Divorce docs neatly arranged, waiting for my signature. By noon, final approval needed. Lawyer had taken every precaution. Accounts locked, apartment flagged for suspicious activity. Jessica tried anything, it would be caught. Good, I muttered, leaning back in stiff hotel chair. Anything else? Just this, Robert warned, grim tone. She won't take this lying down, David. People like her don't go down without a fight. Be ready. Ended call, his words echoing. Retaliation. Not if, but when. Jessica wouldn't let this go quietly. Still, I was prepared. Later, drove back to the apartment. Not to linger, gather necessities. Pulled into driveway, her car gone. Welcome sight. Apartment greeted me with eerie stillness. Stepped inside. Party aftermath impossible to ignore. Empty glasses, crumpled napkins, faint stench of alcohol. Chaotic scene. Reckless indulgence. Headed upstairs. Suitcase still in bedroom corner. Untouched. Methodically packed clothes, documents, personal items, opened drawer. Something unexpected. Small, unmarked box, buried under her scarves. Curiosity. Inside, burner phone. Pulse quickened. Powered it on. Screen lit, no password. Scrolling. Texts, photos, call logs, everything. Incriminating. Messages revealed tangled web of deceit, multiple men. Flirtatious exchanges, explicit photos, clandestine plans. One text, a punch to the gut. I think he's on to me. If he finds out, it's over. Let's be careful. Timestamp 2 weeks ago. She knew. Instead of confessing, buried herself deeper. Buzzing in pocket. Avery. David, she began, tense. Jessica's furious. Knows about the email. Lawyer already. Rumors accusing you of controlling, emotionally abusive. Jaw clenched. Typical Jessica. Thanks for the warning, I replied curtly. Be careful, Avery urged. She's not thinking straight. Cornered, you know how she gets. Ended call. Burner phone back in hand. This was it. Proof of betrayal. Tucked box in bag, determined to leave. Jessica wanted a fight. She just handed me the ammo. Drive back to hotel blurred. Mind racing. Burner phone not just evidence, trump card. Confirmed suspicions, vivid picture of duplicity. Room sifted through phone's contents, piece by piece. Messages, ongoing affair. Guy named Rick. Name repeated. Relationship unmistakable. Photos, brazenly inappropriate, blood boiling. Joked about using party as cover for Rick to visit. One text, gut punch again. Rick, when are you telling him? You said you'd end it before Christmas. Reply. I will, waiting for right time. He's too distracted with work to notice anything. Not lapse in judgment. Calculated. Jessica smiled in my face, orchestrating marriage's downfall. Phone buzzed again. Avery. David. Urgent. Jessica knows about burner phone. Panicking, convinced you'll use it against her. She's not wrong, I replied flatly. Look, I get it. Avery softened. You're angry. Angry? I cut her off, voice hard. She lied, humiliated me, let another man in our home. Now spinning lies, victim. Don't tell me how to feel. Not telling you, she countered quickly. But need to know, Jessica desperate, she lashes out. Let her, I said, voice cold. I'm ready. Pause. What are you planning? You don't want to know, I replied, ending call. Hours. Solidified plan. Phone's contents downloaded, secure drive, lawyer. Select screenshots, trusted friends. Corroborate story of Jessica twisted narrative. Evening, strategy airtight. Divorce docs ready, evidence secured, next moves outlined. But not the end. Jessica declared war. I wasn't about to lose. Phone up, dialing last person Jessica would expect. Her mother, Scarlett. Voice online, gentle caution. Always maintained kind, fragile bond, even turbulent years of marriage. Hello, Scarlett, I began, voice composed. Need to talk. Something serious. Brief silence. Sounds important, she said, concerned. It is, I affirmed. Necessary you hear this directly from me before Jessica twists truth. She's been unfaithful, months. Undeniable proof. Divorce. Sharp intake of breath. David, are you certain? Scarlett trembled. Wouldn't say it if I weren't, I said firmly. Not trying to hurt you, but think you deserve to know. Jessica might paint me as bad guy, not who I am. Scarlett didn't respond immediately. When she spoke, voice quivered. She's been distant lately, almost cold. Thought just stress now. This explains so much. Far beyond stress, I said gently. Just wanted you to know truth. Thank you for telling me, she said, barely whisper. Don't know how I'll even face her after this, but thank you. Call ended. Overwhelming mix of emotions. Relief, believed, deep sadness, storm ahead. Scarlett knew truth. Ripples would spread. Jessica's villain act faltered. Tides shifting. She ignited conflict. I was ready to see it through. She thought she could break me. No idea how far I was prepared to go. Morning sun, hotel window, warm but distant. Mocking storm brewing inside. Woke early, restless resolve. This day, seize control of narrative. Jessica started fire, I'd let it consume everything. First call, Robert. Divorce papers filed immediately, I said. No preamble. Freeze joint assets. Don't want her touching anything. Already in motion, Robert assured. Tonight she won't move financially without us knowing. Perfect, I said. One more thing. Make this public. Issue statement. Leak it if necessary. People need to see truth. Her doing, not mine. Bold strategy, Robert cautioned. Might escalate things. Good, I said, resolve unwavering. Call ended. Wheels in motion. Inbox check. No messages from Jessica. Plenty of replies to earlier email. Mostly supportive, few neutral. One stood out. David, you don't know me, but you should. Jessica's been doing this for years. Not the first, won't be last. Proof, stories, I have. Nicholas. Name unfamiliar. Message genuine. Replied immediately. Asked for details. Waited. Made decision. Apartment. One last time. Not belongings. Make a point. Pulled into driveway. Jessica's car there. Burner phone in pocket. Knocked. Door opened fast. Jessica, face simmering anger. What are you doing here? She demanded. We need to talk, I said calmly, stepping inside. No permission needed. Followed me to living room, arms crossed tight. Haven't you done enough damage? What more do you want? Turned to face her, expression unyielding. Want you to understand. You don't control story anymore. Everyone knows truth about you, only going to get worse. Bravado wavered, scoffed. You're bluffing. Burner phone from pocket, coffee table, face ashen, recognized it. Go ahead, I said. Look through it. Relive every betrayal, every lie. Copies already with lawyer, few of your friends. They deserve truth, don't you think? Hands shook, staring at phone. You're pathetic, she hissed. Think destroying my reputation will solve anything? Not interested in solving anything, I said, voice ice cold. Interested in exposing you. Lunged for phone, I stepped between her and table. Don't get to avoid this, I said. Created this mess, now live with it. Composure cracked, voice venomous. You're a coward. Maybe, I replied, faint smirk. But not a liar. Phone buzzed. Email, Nicholas. Subject, proof. Smiling, opened, held screen where Jessica could see. Looks like you're past catching up, I said, scrolling through attachments. Her confidence crumbled. Fear. Who sent you that? She asked, voice tight, panic. Someone you wronged before me, I replied. Seems your list of enemies longer than I imagined. First time, eyes filled with genuine fear. David, she said softly, pleading. We can fix this. Let's talk. No, I said, voice resolute. We're done. Time for explanations over. Jessica wanted battle. Now she had one. No backward glance. I left apartment. Not just breakup, day of reckoning. Desperate, quivering voice echoed in mind. Please, we can work this out. Words not remorse, self-preservation. So long, Jessica held upper hand, controlling everything. Now tides turned. Power slipping. Suited me fine. Car, deep breath. Revisited Nicholas's email, damning contents. Screenshots, explicit photos, voice memos. Each file piece of puzzle. Exposed Jessica's truth. Nicholas entangled long before me. Story mirrored mine. Lies, betrayal, manipulation. Same patterns. One sentence from his email sharp. She always thought I wouldn't fight back, but I kept everything. People like Jessica always believe invincible. This time she was wrong. Replied quickly, thanked Nicholas, asked to collaborate with lawyer. Swift, resolute reply. Absolutely. Tell me when, and where. Each revelation, case solidified, not just court victory, ensuring she couldn't rewrite story for next victim. Fallout almost immediate. Phone buzzing, flood of calls, texts, emails, notifications. Jessica launched counterattack. Dramatic Facebook post, victim. David trying to ruin my life with lies, manipulation, always been controlling, emotionally abusive, mistakes, but no one deserves this. Supporters rallied, echoing claims. Mutual friends skeptical, asking questions, probing truth. Classic Jessica. Victim card, twisting narrative. But this time, I was prepared. Called Robert instantly. She's gone public, accusing emotional abuse. Anticipated this, he said calmly. Stick to facts. More she exaggerates, easier to disprove. Composed, measured, factual response. Many seen Jessica's recent post, entitled To Perspective Clarify. Challenges in marriage stemmed from repeated infidelity. Substantiate. Accountability, not control. Truth will come to light. Attached single screenshot. Burner phone text. Jessica mocking deception. Subtle. Powerful. Cast doubt on narrative. Responses flooded in. Supportive messages, requests for details, shocked disbelief. Then, unexpected twist. Midday, Nicholas emailed again. More damning evidence. Embezzlement from nonprofit. Lawsuit from former employer. Scrolling files. Unease gripped me. Jessica's deceit stretched far beyond imagination. No longer just marriage. Exposing truth. Only getting started. Relayed details to Robert. Called back almost instantly. Sharp, urgent tone. This changes everything, he said. Substantiated not just divorce. Criminal charges. Words struck hammer. Jessica always lived edge. This revelation different level. Do it, I said firmly. Verify everything, include in case. Later, Jessica's Facebook post unraveling spectacularly. Public picking apart narrative, inconsistencies, questions she couldn't answer. Deflect, deceit clearer. Avery messaged. She's losing it. People seeing through her. Good, I replied curtly. Keep up pressure. Evening. Email from private investigator. Located Rick, party guy. Confirmed Jessica leading him on, painting future together, once rid of David. Rick, recently learned of marriage, provided statement. Texts Jessica sent Rick, one line jumped out. Don't worry about David, too clueless to figure anything out. Sting undeniable, solidified resolve, not clueless, not helpless. Upper hand now, Jessica's facade crumbling faster than dared imagine. Web of lies unraveling. Mounting evidence, nowhere to turn. Next morning, Robert and I, ready to file amended petition. Armed damning discoveries. Jessica initiated battle, caught in storm of own making, determined to dismantle every advantage she thought she possessed. Situation spiraled further. Jessica's frantic attempts to salvage reputation, worse. Doubled down, cracks in story impossible to ignore. Robert called early. She's filing counterclaim to your petition, he reported. Accusing emotional abuse, claiming you sabotaged career. Desperate reach, considering evidence. Sighed, rubbed temples. Let her keep digging, I said coolly. Do we have everything ready? Burner phone records, Nicholas's emails, Rick's statement? Everything's set, Robert assured. Once before judge, credibility obliterated. But something else. What now? Bracing myself. Attempted to transfer funds from shared account to personal one, Robert informed. Court order stopped it, but proves she's panicking. Recklessness accelerating downfall. Not messy divorce anymore. Nicholas's embezzlement evidence. Ticking time bomb. Robert passed it to prosecutor's office. Matter of time before action. Mid-morning, decided to escalate. Called Avery. David? Weary voice. Plan now? Need you to take a step, I said. Share screenshots, burner phone texts with her friends. One's not fully sighted yet. Let them see truth. Avery paused. Bold move. Certain? She's accusing abuse, I replied coldly. Trying to destroy reputation. Done holding back. Reluctant sigh, Avery agreed. I'll take care of it. Afternoon. Effects undeniable. Avery updated. Lauren saw texts, furious, cutting ties. Katie called her narcissist. Didn't expect that. Private investigator called again. David, he began. More on nonprofit embezzlement. Didn't press charges. Agreed to privately repay stolen funds. Director willing to testify. Unbelievable, I muttered. Jessica's reckless trail catching up. No escape. Evening, reviewed final draft amended petition, hotel room. Phone rang. Jessica. Considered ignoring, answered. What do you want? I asked icily. Voice wavered. David, we need to talk. Face to face. Bitter laugh. You're kidding, right? After everything? Please, she pleaded, voice breaking. Made mistake. We can fix this. Just come to apartment. I'll explain. Desperation palpable. Not falling for it. Not a chance, I said. Anything to say. Tell lawyer. Tone turned venomous. You think you're perfect? Fine. Let's see what happens when I reveal truth about you. Think I don't have dirt? Think I won't use it? Go ahead, I said calmly. Every move you make, worse for you. Out of options, Jessica. Long silence, then hung up. Placed phone down, no second thought. Last desperate attempt regain control, but over. Evidence, witnesses, truth, my side. End of week, Robert and I. Bring everything to court. Finalize nightmare. Jessica's deception, betrayal, financial malfeasance, brink of exposure. Truth surfaced. Wouldn't just cost divorce. Would cost her everything. Courtroom. Powder keg of tension. Everyone holding breath for storm of revelations. I sat beside Robert, calm exterior, fury simmering inside. Across room, Jessica, composed, cracks in facade of innocence showing. Judge entered, proceedings began. Weight of moment palpable. Jessica's attorney, no time wasted. Narrative cast me as domineering, emotionally abusive partner. Case leaned heavily on Jessica's account. Weaponized version of events, divorced from reality, story woven from lies, smear campaign to justify treachery, tarnish name. Robert unfazed, confidence steady anchor. Our turn to respond. Systematically dismantled claims, precision. Started with burner phone. Single piece of evidence, turned tide. This phone, Your Honor, Robert declared, holding it aloft. Contains undeniable proof. Text messages, photos, call records, document respondent's infidelity, intent to deceive client. Read excerpts from messages, each one tearing holes in Jessica's fabricated narrative. Audible gasps rippled courtroom. Prelude to more. Robert called Nicholas to testify. Spoke calmly, words devastating weight. recounted Jessica's manipulative, deceitful behavior, chilling detail. Testimony, unflattering but accurate portrait of true nature. Final strike, financial misconduct. Robert laid out tray of damning documents. Detailed records, signed repayment agreement, statement from nonprofit director, corroborated embezzlement. Not behavior of victimized, controlled individual, Robert concluded, voice steady, firm. Pattern of selfish, reckless actions caused significant harm to client, others. Jessica's lawyer objected, tried to salvage case. Damage irreparable. Each revelation. Judge's demeanor, more severe. Balance of justice, tipping unmistakably against Jessica. When she took stand, confidence crumbled. Evasive answers, defensive attitude, unraveling composure revealed. "Mrs. Jackson," Robert asked pointedly, "how explain attempting to withdraw assets from joint account after court order to freeze it?" Caught off guard, Jessica stammered. I didn't know order." "Curious," Robert countered, tone cutting. "Because here's timestamp from bank notification you received when transaction blocked." Jessica's face ashen. Silence spoke louder than admission. Judge needed little time deliberate. Voice firm, unyielding, delivered decision. Evidence overwhelmingly supports petitioner's claims. Respondents' actions display consistent pattern of dishonesty, infidelity, financial recklessness. I hereby grant divorce on grounds of adultery. Award Mr. Jackson majority of marital assets, including family home. Gavel came down. Weight lifted off shoulders. Jessica's stunned, furious expression, last image I allowed myself. Didn't look back. Not just legal victory, liberation from toxic hold on life. Walking out courtroom, mixture of emotions. Relief, vindication, bittersweet ache for what lost. Above all, deep sense of readiness. Resolve to move forward. Jessica's lies, undoing, not mine. Standing sunlight, first true taste of freedom. No longer cast shadow over life. Closure. Chance at new beginning.